All right, it's time to get your trunks, your one pieces, your rash guards, your boardies out, as it's Hamfest season. Well, okay, maybe swimsuit season? I don't know, whatever. Well, next on Live Free and Ham. All right. Hello and welcome to Live Free and Ham podcast. This is our weekly show where we discuss ham radio topics in New Hampshire, New England, and beyond. And we're thrilled to have you here, whether you're a regular listener or tuning in for the first time. And we always enjoy you guys joining us for this episode. So let's get into the show. I'm your host, Eric, callsign N1JUR, and I'm with one of my co-hosts and a special guest tonight, but we'll toss it over to our co-host first.
I'm Todd, W1STJ, and we've got...
Good evening, this is Mike, N3, MFL, Twitter Silverland.
There we go. Nice. He is stepping in so graciously for Paul, who is feverishly prepping for his journey across the United States. I would say if you are listening to this podcast about a week later, look him up on APRS. We're going to be tracking him on Discord and on the website and stuff like that via him. He said he's going to have APRS on, so we'll be able to see Paul's little car move across the United States. Hopefully he'll have the little trailer icon. Otherwise, Tim KC1QDK will be a little annoyed that he won't see the correct icon resembling what he should be while traveling. But with that, we wish him well and safe journey, man. And hey, he's going to be hanging out with Mike on Monday, so I'm looking forward to seeing that and hopefully making contact with those guys, because I struggle to hit Mike from New York. I don't know what it is. It's just not, the skip does not work in my favor every time he's activating. So either way. Okay. Well, like we always do, we get into our topic. We got a few things to catch you guys up on. As always, head over to our storefront at livefreeandham.com/shop. Check out all the merch. Maybe pick up a bacon pack of our hammies, because I gave out a bunch of those at NEARFest last week. And so, a few people, definitely love to see those things. And, hey, if you want to connect with our community, you can do it a number of different ways. You can always hit us up on our SMS link in our description. You can send us an email, or if you're so inclined, you can use our voicemail number, which is 978-233-1142. And I won't put Todd over the barrel with this one, because I am not on the ball with the scrolling at the bottom of the screen here. Don't worry about it. So, all right. Well, with that, we also have a live stream. So if you missed our live stream at NEARFest, which was technically for the April timeframe, we'll be having one in May. So keep your eyes out. And the easiest way to do that is make sure you subscribe to Live Free and Ham. As I know, we got a couple of new subscribers that just joined over the past couple of days. So make sure you ring that bell so you get notified. Nice. All right. And as always, if you'd like to support the show, we always appreciate everybody who does. You can become a Patreon member, and you get a ton of free stuff if you're a Patreon member. You can head over to patreon.com, Live Free and Ham, and some of those Patreon members get early access to show releases, uncut, unedited, unfettered conversation like we just are doing tonight. And, as Bob Koff always says, and I am not on the ball, what the heck here? Bob Koff always says... Sadly, I can't find it. Where the hell is it? I'm so off. All right. Well, anyway, just for $3 a month, you can join for Live Free and Ham. I'm sorry, Bob. I screwed that one up big time. Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, with that, we have nothing in the mailbag, and we definitely don't have Paul here tonight with WinLink. So we are going to just blow by those and doing good. We haven't seen anything come by. So, make sure you send us something. If you've got a do good story, we want to hear about it. And so with that, we're going to dive right into...
it's everyone's favorite segment.
And now, a little something extra with Todd, W1STJ.
Still a general.
Like that little blurb there. I did. I have got a lot more of those.
Suck.
I have gone back in the archives there and pulled out the little segments when Todd just puts a little dig out there and says, I'm a general, poor me. So, here we go. Well, I am the VE tonight, so I am going to forgo the formalities of getting us into a little something extra because, if you've been on the show for a little while, you know what we do here. We test Todd on the extra class question pool. Hopefully you guys got a chance to catch the video that we did at NEARFest, testing people on the street. That was a blast and very interesting to see. We are definitely going to have to ramp that up next time in the fall and, really turn up the heat on that one, see what we can do. So yes, good stuff going on there. So without further ado, I'm going to kick this off. So are you ready? I've got my button on the tension, 30-second tension song there. So if you are ready, I will happily read the question to you. W1STJ, are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay. All right. We are dipping into the random pool questions here. So this question is what is the far field of an antenna? Is it A, the region where the shape of the radiation pattern no longer varies with distance? B, the region where radiated power dissipates over a specified time period? C, the region where radiated field strengths are constant? Or D, the region of the ionosphere where radiated power is not refracted?
Are you sure this is an extra question?
It is.
I don't remember ever seeing this one. I know it hasn't been any on any of the exams that I've done, but let me see.
Well,
all right.
The top of my window says amateur extra.
Yeah, all right. Let's see. The region.
Feel free to jump in there, Mike.
Okay, the region where radiated.
Oh, I already know the answer. I'm just thinking.
The region where radiated. All right. The region where I need a second.
You have plenty of time, my friend.
Yeah.
I can run the music again.
No.
Come on.
I'm gonna say B.
B. All right, Mike. What's your answer?
I'm going to say it's either B or A. It's definitely not B.
That's the other one.
You're gonna go with B?
Yeah.
What? You can only pick one, Mike. So we're going B.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll go B. Yeah.
All right, and you are both wrong.
Is it A?
It is the correct answer is A. The region where the shape of the radiation pattern no longer varies with distance. And so let's go back and read the question here, or the answer to the question, or description. I don't even know what they call this. Paul does this so much better than I do. All right. As the RF energy leaves the antenna, it generally expands into the full beam. However, this expansion only continues for a specific distance. At a certain distance from the antenna, the beam pattern no longer changes, but remains relatively constant. And this distance is referred to as the far field distance. The far field radiation pattern is typically what we are most concerned with in radio communication, as practically every receiving antenna is going to be in the far field under real conditions. All right, and they give you a hint, and the antenna pattern usually have a proverbial shape. Only answer with shape. And then the silly hint is FFS means far field shape. All right, well, we got 0 for 3 today, so let's go to the next one.
0 for 3. 0 for 1.
Well, we have 3 total questions, my friend.
I haven't had that.
All right. So fine. If you're 0 for 1, we're only doing one at a time here. All right. So question number 2. What is the approximate bandwidth of a 13 words per minute international Morse code transmission? Is it A, 52 hertz, B, 26 hertz, C, 13 hertz, or D, 104 hertz? I don't need to know Morse code.
I think it's A.
And Mike, your final answer?
B.
All right. Okay. So, Paul, Todd, you say A, and you are correct. All right. Okay. So the answer to this one is CW words per minute is WPM CW equals 13. What's the necessary bandwidth for this transmission? For a CW transmission, remember bandwidth equals 4 hertz, blah, blah, blah. So in this case, BW, CW equals 4 hertz times 13 words per minute. BW, CW. My gosh, is anybody going to remember this? Test tip. To remind yourself that you must multiply by 4 to calculate bandwidth in hertz from words per minute to CW. Just think 4-letter word hertz. It also may help to remember that in a deck of cards, there are 13 cards in each suit and 4 suits for a total of 52 cards. Really? You got that one, Paul? Todd?
Yeah.
Keep doing that, man. Sorry.
I got it
right. You got it right. But I don't think it was because of the hint. Yet another way to remember is the Morse code is just 2 symbols, a dot and a dash. And a good rule of thumb from the general exam is to stay at least an extra bandwidth away from the edge of the band. 2 doubled is 4. All right. Here we go. We are 1 for 1. Last question here. All right, here we go. How can an unwanted ringing and audio instability be prevented in an op-amp audio filter? Is it A, restrict gain but increase Q? Is it B, increase both gain and Q? Is it C, restrict both gain and Q? Or D, restrict Q and increase gain?
I'm going to go with C.
Your answer, Mike?
A.
Okay. All right. Todd says C. Mike says A. And Todd is correct. Woohoo! Mike is still. What are you? Are you a general class or are you an extra, Mike?
I'm a general, but I have a parole too. So.
You have a what?
Parole.
Oh.
General radio operator's license.
Operator's license. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. To prevent unwanted ringing and audio instability in a multi-section op-amp RC audio filter circuit, restrict both gain and Q. In order to keep an op-amp from going into oscillation, both the gain and the Q are restricted and set by the feedback circuit. So here's the hint. To prevent you restrict. And the jingle is to keep audio true, restrict gain and the Q. That doesn't quite work for me.
Awesome. That was awesome.
And Eric said at the live stream he doesn't sing, but we really know he does.
I was just going to say, that is the only time you're going to hear me sing, Mike.
No.
All right. Well, so Todd, you know what that brings?
I know.
And I actually have the button for that.
Of course you do.
Yes, it is. All right. Well, we are going to shut this system down here for that.
I have to get all three right, because if I get 2 out of 3, then I don't feel like such a loser. If I get 1 out of 3 or no out of 3, I feel like a loser, So it's like I get that song no matter what.
No, well, I get that song on purpose just because I'm always the extra, just because whether you get none right or all of them right. I just do it on purpose. I love it. Bring on the meatloaf. All right, cool. Well, there we go with a little something extra. All right, so we always roll into this next section here. So in our usual format, let's throw it over to Mike first. So, we usually ask everybody, hey, how's your ham radio week? Whether it's ham radio adjacent, no ham radio, or ham radio, all the above. How's your ham radio week, man?
Long and eventful.
Should I pull up a blanket?
Yeah, exactly. And a beer and a drink. And
I already got that.
So this weekend, the last 3 weeks, just been prepping for NEARFest and work, obviously. Hung out with Todd and Eric and Paul and what was the other gentleman's name? I can't remember.
Matt or Lance.
Yes,
and Ryan.
Yep. I owe him a sticker, by the way. I've got to get his information.
Yep.
But it was good. Hamfest was good. We had a blast Friday night, did really good selling, did really good buying. First time for the new to me camper setting up. It was fun,
Mm-hmm.
It was a good weekend, good week, and now it's back to the grind tomorrow morning.
Yeah, thanks for reminding us.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, question with that. So, how many years have you been going to NEARFest?
I've been going to NEARFest since we moved up to Massachusetts. So what? That's Deerfield, at least 3 years, and that's been both times per year.
Okay, so you're pretty familiar with the NEARFest format and how the controlled chaos is with it. It's kind of, if you're very unaccustomed to it, you kind of look around and go, how do they keep everything in order? You don't.
It's herding cats. It's herding cats. But I miss Deerfield, I will say. That was
really
beautiful. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Everybody's like, I don't miss. I miss Deerfield because there was room to move around.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't on top of everybody, and you could get out and walk and see everything. Not everybody wasn't just crammed and on top of each other. I don't like New Boston.
Huh, interesting.
I really don't. I like Deerfield. I like to be down in the field, and then we had people set up all around the big field down there at the base, down by the main gate. I was always set up by the main gate, nice, because everybody had to walk past me to get up the hill to go see everybody else. So, it's the bathrooms were right there. I didn't have to walk 15 miles to go find a bathroom. You know, they had porta potties and trash.
The one thing I hated about Deerfield the most was every time you went there, you had to walk the hill. Like that was a guarantee. You always had to walk the hill. You know, and this format for me is like, I like every seller being in that general area because at least it feels like it's busy. Like where you go to Deerfield or you go to NEARFest at Deerfield, like you could walk between sellers and they could be like 20 to 30 yards apart from each other and like hidden off in a corner. And it's like, oh, I missed out on an opportunity for a radio that was over there that I could have just walked by with, you know, what you had, like where we have it in New Boston now. So I don't know. I like the closer comfort. I really wish we had a lot more, we'll say space for barns and, you know, commercial vendors to show up. Right. But I don't think that's kind of what NEARFest has ever been since I was a kid when I was doing it in high school. So.
And there was more commercial dealers at Deerfield too, because we had obviously the more buildings. Yeah. But you know, it's the commercial guys, like Matt, commercial guy. I mean, he had a beautiful setup, nice tables. He was right by the door. Yes, it makes perusing easier as you walk around. But, you know, because I do the power walk. I just sit there and I literally walk down and look, and I'm scanning both rows as I walk. Like, oh, that looks interesting. Head over there. Mm-hmm. I do like that aspect of it, but I just don't like everybody being on top of each other. And it was mad chaos trying to get people parked in a spot. I almost had to move. So, you know, it's just like, what do you want?
Yeah, they could definitely do a lot better in terms of organization, but we'll get into that a little bit later because I'm curious to see your view on it because I've got a different take on it. But I've been on both sides of the Deerfield, and then before they weren't in Deerfield, they were up in off of 89. Where the heck was that? I can't remember that location. That was a long time ago. But anyway, we'll talk more about that. So over to you, Todd. How was your Hammer Week, bud?
Well, I did eventually get to NEARFest. I was there Friday, but I had to work. I had a busy week last week with work, so I got there around 4:00, and to my surprise, there was no gate personnel. I stopped. I looked around. You know, waited. Figured someone might come out of the woods or something. No one came. So I'd been there last year, so I just went in the park and I walked around real quick looking for Eric and Paul. Couldn't find them, so I gave Eric a call, and he was in the barn. So I went over there and got the keys because I had some cold. Needed to put some stuff in Paul's fridge. So I went up to his camper up on top of the hill, and I walked down, and everyone was packing up when I got there, and more people were even gone when I put the stuff in the fridge.
Yeah.
And Eric and I are like, well, let's go make some dinner. So we went up and started cooking, and next thing you know, we were in a live stream, and I was having a blast, and started pouring and thunder. Right? Like it was sunny when we went in there. We come out, it's like a freaking storm going on. So
like a New England meme.
Yeah, so it was fun though. I'm glad it was. You know, I had a good time. I thought it was great, but I couldn't come back Saturday. My kid had baseball, and so I just wasn't going to be back there. So I was glad I was able to get there for the live stream and just see everyone and meet you, Mike, in person, and it was fun. Yeah. So cool. And I didn't buy anything. Like I said, everyone was packing up. I did see the one thing I wanted to buy was this guy had this like what do you call it? It was a 3D printed kind of wheel, but it was for the thin coax that I use for POTA. And it was, like the wheels that you would like run like if it was a larger size,
coil wire.
Yeah, like, or you would do like a wheel for like your long extension cords or something. But it was mini size and it fit. He wanted like $35, and I didn't need the coax. I said, hey, do you just sell the plastic things? Because they were selling them like the other plastic things were like $5 or $10. And he goes, no, I might bring them next time. They might be on Etsy. So I was like, oh, that's too bad. Like the guy should have just taken the coax off and sold me the one that was there for $10, and I would have bought.
$10 have been done.
Yeah, but so I gotta go find out. Either he said like next week he'll have it on Etsy because I want to use it for my POTA bag because it just fits flat and it just saves some space and it probably keep the wire in better or the coax in better shape.
If you can't find one and you're gonna have to force yourself to buy it at $35, just go to Messi and Poloni. They sell a whole bag and the reel together.
Oh yeah.
But you're gonna pay for their name. and the shipping over from Italy. If you can't get it in engineering.
I'm gonna look on and I'm gonna get Ryan to 3D print me one. I just gotta find
good idea.
I'm sure I can find it on Etsy or something similar. But yeah, so that was the only thing I was gonna buy that I liked. It's the same stuff. In that barn, it's like the same vendors pretty much every year.
Mm-hmm.
So
cool.
But that was it. So it was good.
Awesome. Well, yeah. So we won't rag you tonight, Todd. Yeah, my hammer of the week was.
I was getting ragged a lot. I was taking a beating in the live stream, but it comes around, goes around.
Well, now that Mike's an official near guy here with us, it's just going to get worse.
Anyway. If I don't get this, if Kim beats me on this extra, man.
Oh, dude, please.
I'm never going to hear the end of it. And she studies all the time. Like she's like, I studied for 4 hours today.
Kim.
and then I got the pressure. I have to get my extra before Paul licenses or whatever.
Before I get my VE.
That's easy. That you just got to fill out the form.
I haven't even taken the test. That's why I'm being nice.
It's an open book test.
I know, but dude, that's like, so okay. What's the excuse with the extra? You've been studying for a year.
It's 500 questions, and I keep getting.
I know. Yeah. I took it.
It's only a 50-question test, though.
Mm-hmm.
Have you taken the test?
No.
It sucks. There's a lot of. They take like 1 or 2 from it's just, and it's always what gets me is like I'm like today, right? I'm in the right ballpark, and it's like normally it's one word, and I'm like, was it reactance or resistance? It's the same sentence. I'm like, and I can't remember, and I'm like, I studied that like 3 months ago, but I remembered it, and yeah,
as Todd says,
I think you should give it to me.
Yeah,
that's literally it. Just give it to him. That's all he wants. Just give him his extra. He's done. Yeah. So like you guys, I was at NEARFest. So it was a blast. I literally stupidly woke up earlier than I should have. I don't know why, but I got to our early club breakfast. It was supposed to be at 6:30. I showed up at 6 for some reason. So I had like a half an hour to kill. And I was just like, what the kick is wrong with me? So like I was on 4 cups of coffee by the time I got to NEARFest, which is way over my usual limit. And then, I was, had a couple other, sodas and stuff like that. So by the time like we got to, hanging out with the guys during our live stream, I was just like buzzing totally hard on sugar everywhere. I was like, holy crap. Yeah, it does. I'm sure it does. And then you fuel that with a little bit of alcohol and a smart ass mouth, and you never know where that's going to go. So all in all, I was sort of like you guys. I was not disappointed, but maybe underwhelmed by like all of the crap that was out there. Like there wasn't like a whole lot of great stuff. And I and Paul walked the whole entire thing in literally like 20 minutes. And it wasn't like, we were like, oh, wow, here's a stop. Let's take a look. It was like, oh, here's a bunch of like, overpriced, like I saw your 890, there was a 817 set up with the ATAS and all that. I saw all of that and I was like, that's way outrageous. I mean, come on, nobody's going to pay that much. And, lo and behold, you proved that. So, outside of that, there were some interesting things. I didn't see a lot of the typical people from our club that we were usually there, although they did show up a lot later. So those are the guys that like, they love to collect radios. They're the tube guys, all of the old, boat anchors and that type of stuff. So, it's kind of all their thing, but that's just not my flavor, man. I'm not like, I just don't want to have the old equipment, sitting in my house or in my shack, sitting in the corner. I just don't have that, connection to it.
See, Eric and I are just waiting for like another decade, and then we're going to be one of those guys selling all our shit that we have now and be like, yeah, take this stuff off my hands.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I'm doing that way beforehand, man. I am doing a Marie Quan. I'm going through my boxes, and if like I can't use it and I haven't used it in a year, I'm finding another ham. Yeah, or you could buy it or whatever. Like in essence, I was even thinking like when I was driving on the way home from after our live stream from NEARFest, I'm like, I got a DX10 sitting in a box. When's the next time I'm going to use that? Because everybody else in our club has a DX10 and, it's just sitting there. So I'm like, maybe I should just, sell it. And then I saw it was for 800, but then I was like, I should get it for at least $1,000.
Was I one of the first guys in the club to get the DX10? Yeah. I think I was.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. You bought one and then I was like, I got to have one. And then you bought a Flex.
you played with it. You came over, right? And you're like, oh, I got to get one of these.
Yep.
Was it last year I bought an FTDX 3000?
Oh, nice.
Yep. And I did not like it. I really didn't like it. No.
It has some interesting filtering add-ons that you have to get to make it worth its while.
Yeah, I was like, okay, it's a big chonking radio. Mm-hmm. Nice. You know, it's just like this 756 I have sitting here. Yeah. But I didn't like it. You know, and I turned around to the next NEARFest and sold it off. Yep.
I was hoping that there was going to be that couple there that does the hats and stuff. Because I wanted to get this hat. Yeah. And when they were in Marlboro, I brought this hat and I said, hey, can you put, oh no, we're not doing personal this year. I'm like, seriously?
What?
I'm like, why? Well, I just want my call letters on the back. And they're like, nope, we're not doing anything personal. It's like, we're just doing our stuff. And I was like, I'll pay for it.
Yeah, no, exactly. Right? I'm not asking for free.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think I'm just gonna have to go down to the mall. To, what is it, Lids or something, where they can? I think Lids.
They'll do it. That's what I did with. I ended up. I couldn't get a hat that I wanted, so I got my call sign and I got Ham Harder and a hashtag on the back of the hat. So I gotta figure out where I put that hat. But anyway. Yeah. So outside of that, I really enjoyed hanging out in Matt's booths. I mean, I know he teased us and ragged us about being booth babes and employees, which, hey, dude, I was perfectly fine with it. It was fun. You know, Matt and I in between were hanging out, having conversations and just talking shop and, all the other stuff. And then it was kind of ironic because literally when I think Mike, N2MAK, realized that we were doing our live stream at like 6:30, he texts me in a fever. He's like, dude, can I release a video before they do? And I'm like, yeah, I don't care when you do it. It's like, it's not going to stop me from I'm not going to yell at you for you deciding to put a premiere before it. And so he sent me the copy of the premiere and it was, his 56-to-1, pseudo antenna test that he was doing in his backyard. And I was like, now I know why he wanted to release it, because we're hanging out with Matt. And so he wanted to give him kudos for it. So
we're always promoting those antennas. Those Reliance antennas are they are
the bomb.
Yeah, you can't buy a better POTA antenna. I mean, seriously, portable antennas, that's where you got to go.
So here's the thing. Like, what else is on the market today that's like in that same genre? You've got, the Pactena, which most of the time is unobtainium unless you're on a list. And that's anywhere double or even sometimes a little bit higher than the price. Actually, it's a lot more higher than the price than what Matt sells even like his NFED at the 40-10 or his 80-10. And I'm like, I could buy two of Matt's for one Pactena. And I was like, not to say George's antenna is a bad antenna. It's a great antenna, but if you can't get it, like, then to me, it's just no antenna because you're not able to use an antenna. So Matt's always been, one of those guys that is like, hey, I'll make any antenna for you. But at the same time, like, I always have stock, which is like, everybody's always surprised. So that's definitely, one of his good things. And he's everywhere now.
Yeah, I bought the base camp, the NFED half-wave base camp, and he sat there, no lie. As we're talking, he's sitting there assembling. I said, I want that wire with that spool, and he's do. I said, I don't want the Chinesium wire. I want the good wire.
Yep.
And he just literally he had it together in like 30 seconds.
Yep.
And I was like, see, now this is quality. The guy who owns a company will sit here and build you your antenna, and all you have to do is walk out the door, plug it in, and go.
He's the other type of guy. It's like you go over to his like little like parts, the S-Beaner boxes, and say, I've got like 10 of these. Here's $20. No, dude. Here's $5. I want $5 for them. I'm like, dude, how are you supposed to make money? I know you bought these at like mass quantity. Paul did it. I did it. I was like, I don't need these extra beaners, but I still want them. So, here's $20. And, so he's like, okay, fine. So, I had to like, force him to take money a lot of times, but that's his product. It's just good. Period.
He's also a good person too.
Yeah. There's the other thing.
And funny as hell giving ribbon Todd.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, I went back and listened to the live stream and I missed the part where Paul was like, where he had the Lipfree and Ham whiskey glass and Paul's like, oh, it's empty. And he's like, yeah, I know. Watson was drinking out of it. And like, I totally missed that altogether.
Oh, really?
He's like, Watson, why are you drinking whiskey? He's like, well, Dad, I don't have to drive. So why not? I totally blew over that part.
I felt bad. He was sleeping in his car for like the 2 days. I said, dude, I live like 20 minutes from here. You want to come over to my house and crash?
Oh, he was staying in his car?
Yeah.
I thought he was like in an RV or something.
No, and I told him, I said, dude, come to my house. I got an extra bed and room. Like,
he didn't even have to. He could. Paul was like, dude, why aren't you sleeping in my camper? I mean, you obviously have to sleep next to Watson, but there's plenty of space.
Well, if I would have known, I had access to a cot. I could have just thrown it out, and he could have snoozed his. Man, if I would have known that, I would have dragged him by his ear to Friday night and say, "Come on, let's go."
Now next year he's in trouble. Well, actually, in the fall he's in the trouble, but I'm sure he'll be back up again too as well. So
how come Chris didn't come by? I thought he was coming by.
He had Chris is a funny guy because like when he goes to NEARFest all the time, I find that he catches back up with a lot of his contesting buddies that are there, and they go like, "Oh, let's go out to dinner," or "Let's do this," and whatever. And so like he just kind of gets looped back into that, and I'm just like, "Yeah, dude, I get it. You're a contesting guy. I can't take contesting out of you."
I'm just glad I got to talk to him. I mean, I talked to he was talking to some guy, and I totally like said hi to him, and then interrupted. I apologize. I'm like, dude, sorry to take over your conversation, but I'm on the move, and that's when he told me about his new toy.
Oh yeah. So you're talking about his radio, the Motorola.
Well, that and also the new van that he.
Yeah, that one he's still working on. He's calling the twins.
The twins.
We'll see how that one goes.
I asked him. I said, dude, I go, you should leave one of those in New Hampshire.
He will. Just wait.
Yeah, exactly.
Soon enough, man. Soon enough. It'll become our club van.
I think that's what NEARFest, like one of the things I like about it is that, you get to see, like, I agree with, like last year, or what is it, the fall? Was it the last one we were at, the fall one?
Yeah.
That was, like all the guys from the club were there. So we were running in and out into people and stuff. And it's just good to, the more you go, you just meet more people and you get to see them again and shoot the shit and talk about what's going on. So it's all good.
Yeah. You find like you spent more between both of you since we're kind of getting into it. So like we're going to just kind of cover a little bit of what we thought of NEARFest, and we've already been dabbling in it a little bit here and there in this conversation, but I kind of want to dive a little bit more and then kind of expand that a little bit more because, we've got Ham-X and a bunch of other like usual, this is the season for Hamfest. And, a lot of us tend to do a lot of traveling to and from those, at least in the New England area. And so, anything with NEARFest that you guys really love that, whether, outside of the location that we're at that, keeps always drawing you back, because NEARFest is always the same. They don't, change. Their MO is always the same. That, they have, the structure of all of the sellers, and then they have the typical raffles. They do everything a typical Hamfest is.
It's a glorified flea market. It's a ham radio flea market.
It is.
It's what it is.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, you're moaning. What's going on?
Oh no, it's just because like with most Hamfests, you have things going on other than just the people selling, the boneyards, et cetera, the commercial vendors. But a lot of Hamfests have other things like multi VE testing. What else? Program things. Yep. Yeah. Well, programs. Learn this.
Oh, like all the forums. Yeah.
Yeah, all the forums and stuff.
Have you been to any of those forums? Speaking of that, they had NEARFest does have them, right? I remember they did.
They did. They did when they were in Deerfield, but this year there was this past fall and this spring. Not really. I didn't see anything that was at least remotely interesting. I like the M17 guys. They have. Yeah,
they weren't there.
They always have stuff, and this year they weren't here.
Yeah, it's a bummer. Yeah. And they're local. I mean, it's not like they have to travel.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. They're local. So, it is what it is. It's pretty much what Todd said. It is a
flea market,
boneyard flea market, with a little bit of interesting things going on behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, did you guys get a chance to head over to the Go Box Challenge or the Go Box judging? I didn't.
No, I didn't either.
I saw it and I was like, that should be interesting. And then that's the one thing I think this Hamfest needs to improve on. And if they're listening, get better ways to announce, like, when things are going on.
Thank you.
Because I would love, like, I hear the muffle go, wah, 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 and that's like all I hear. And I'm like, what was that? Whatever. I'm just gonna go back to what I was doing.
why didn't they? I mean, I didn't. They had so I went online to see what the deal was, with NEARFest the day of, to see, okay, like what's going on, what am I missing? I was listening to the Epson repeater all the way up in Campton, because I had to go up north so I could hear like Ralph and all the guys talking and updating about what's going on. So I was getting a flair for it. But they had on the website, like, you won a prize, and there's like a time limit to claim it. Did you guys know about that?
No.
So it had like one guy's name, and he had like 14 minutes to claim it, and then another guy, your time is out. Like, it was like you didn't get your prize.
Wow.
And that was for the door prize stuff. Yes.
Yeah. So it was like you had to claim it, and it was on the website. But I'm like, who's checking
tell you that. Exactly. They didn't.
Like,
tell
who's
you that.
checking websites? And I mean, I don't know. Maybe
that's a good point. I mean, like, there's not a lot of coordination, like but again, it's a ham fest. So we're communicators, but we're poor communicators everywhere. Right?
Well, maybe. I mean, they were using that repeater, right? Whatever the repeater that they're using for the communications. Like, why wasn't there just someone like running a Hamfest net and kind of talking through, and then say, oh, and this is W1STJ Net Control, and we've got our first door prize winner. Please go to blah, blah, blah. And is there any more check-ins, or anyone want to check in? And, like, just keep it going. And
good point.
That would be something that would be
5.5 or something. You could put on 146.55. I know they were using the radio to the speakers setup that they always do. And you can never hear it, because literally it's and it's like
exactly.
And I heard Ernie and was KC1BOO. He's down from my area. Really good dude. Contracts with the Air Force, but he's a ham radio operator. I heard his call sign barely, and I'm like, dude, they just called your call sign. You might want to go check that. And
I know you might have won a radio.
Yeah, you might have gotten something, but. Put it out on 5.5. Everybody was testing and checking on 5.2, but say, hey, look, for the door prizes when they're called, we're gonna put it out on 5.5, or give us the stupid frequency so we can listen to the wireless system that they had going on.
Not just and like, if you're already posting it on your website, why don't you create a small little mobile applet like that you tell everybody when they come in to put that on their phone, and then it just they push out automatic note. Like, I mean, it wouldn't make a big deal. Everyone's carrying their freaking cell phone around, and I know like 12 people all were like, oh, I'm gonna pay when they had debit or ATM or credit card payments, and so it was like, it's already there, so get them to add their cell phone number, and then you just text them when shit comes in, and they'll probably be way better. I mean, but yeah, they could have done better.
I think if we're going to do NEARFest again, I think we should get down where the tables are, like get in the middle of it and set up, get some, like a banner, Live Free and Ham, and just run it live the whole time. Just be like, we're live, here we are, you want to get on, and just giving away
trust
shit.
Me, dude. That was the first thing Paul and I said yesterday. I was just like, dude, when you left, we were just chit-chatting a little bit, and I was like, dude, next year, you got to drop the camper down in the pit, and we're just going to pay for
it down there. He thought he was going to get. He's like, they're like, you have to park up there, and he's like, look at all the people that are parked down there.
Right.
I set up. Yeah, it is like RV parking. I'm like, I was waiting for them to hit me with the RV, because I have a tent in a trailer.
Right. Yeah. Dude, there were full-size RVs like up and around right by the fire trucks in Kip's and Chris's van. So like to draw like, so that you're Todd, you're speaking the same thing that Paul and I just discussed. Was like, dude, we're going to just drop his camper there. We're going to do a 9 to 10 stream. We'll do a 12 to 1 live stream. And then we'll do a later night stream. And we'll just invite people to come by. We'll do men on the street, like, extra questions even after you're an extra. Hopefully by the time next spring rolls around or even fall, you're still not studying for your extra. Dude, come on, I hope so, because you got all summer.
By June
of 2026. So we want to start doing more like being like, because it would be awesome just to have like a booth of just like giving away stuff and being able to just kind of like do some fun stuff both YouTube related and not.
Plus it would be good marketing too, because the people that don't know about us would get to know about us, because they say the podcast, the Northeast Ham Radio podcast, you might get more subscribers. We could do a thing like subscribe now and have have one of those codes, those that you can scan with your phone, and then it goes, and then just pop it up. I mean, so yeah, I just think that would be fun. I mean, we tried to do that at Marlboro the first year. Remember, we had the little booth, and it was like
that was a challenge. That was our first foray, into the whole live streaming stuff. And then nevertheless, Marlboro had like the worst internet. It was like dial up, and trying to like do a live stream on dial up is like just suicide mission. But it was not going to happen.
The other thing, you could do too, is you could like be sitting there, and then like someone walks up, like either someone we know or a listener, and then they could just join in, hey, have a seat, let's talk, get the mic set up and do it legit. And, you might get a crowd. Who knows? I mean, it could be fun, and it might bring a little bit of more attention to make NEARFest a little bit more active.
So here's a perfect example. It's not even a ham fest. Like, how many of you guys watched Josh's camp out stream? The HRCC one, where they did the HRC camp out? No, he said, like, I watched it. I didn't watch it live, but I watched the replay. And he literally had like 4 cameras set up, and he was giving away prizes from a ICOM and everything else in terms of radios and giveaway. Yeah, a lot of stuff. And nevertheless, if you went to that, like Chuck K6 USY, is that his call sign? Chuck from Coffee and Ham Radios.
Yeah.
I think so. He showed up for the weekend, and he gave away 2 Poseidon and the Rybakoff antenna. So.
Nice.
It's all of those kind of things. And I know, like, you had talked, you were thinking about giving away radios, and I don't think we had enough time to to do that after we got rained out. So we'll have to circle back around and do that again. But yeah, dude,
I gave before I left, I had 5 radios down in the truck, and I completely forgot about them too. And I'm like, there was 2 girls and their dad walking by. I said, "Are you guys new hams?" And the littlest one said, "I just passed my test yesterday." I said, "Poof."
There you go. Nice.
For her dual band radio. And
Sweet.
The sister was like, "Well, I recently, I don't remember exactly how." And he go, "Oh, here, Dad, have one too." So,
nice. Get him on the air.
Remember that kid in the fall?
Oh yeah.
He was like this 12-year-old kid, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm an extra." And his dad was like, got him in the ham radio, and he passed his dad. He goes, "He's got more privileges than me."
They can talk to the old people at the bottom of the band.
Yeah.
Well, how fun is that?
Yeah, right.
So, yeah, dude, it's kind of funny because like I look at Hamfests, and I look at like we have that big one. Have you been to Hamex at all, Mike?
No.
Hamex position, the big
in Marlboro.
Yeah, it's now called Hamex. They've changed their name, so they're Hamex abbreviated, because everybody was running around last year going Hamex, and like, you should call it Hamex. So anyway,
that's another sore subject, but okay.
Not that I'm probably with you, because I feel like the place that they're in sucks. Like, it should be like they should be more like NEARFest is, in the sense of like trying to foster like hangout and camping and all of that kind of atmosphere, instead of being in a hotel. Like, the hotel just totally like takes any great coolness out of the whole aspect of it. But in
that hotel though, again, if we want to do live like we did the last time, if there's a way we could get real internet, we could do it in that lobby, right?
Oh, we could do a lot of stuff.
Right, that would be cool too. Who knows? When does that one come up? Is that in the fall?
August
or September.
Ooh, that's right.
No, it's August, and the reason why it's in August is they refuse to move it because it sits right on top of the same week that the Japanese ham convention is, and one other big event. And they keep saying, "Oh, we're never going to change it because if we change it, we're just going to bump up against something else." And it's like, dude, have it in the fall. Stop having it in the middle of August.
That's when I got my general, so maybe I'll have to get my extra there.
Well,
dude, come on, get your extra before that.
the 2 or 3 times I've been to Marlboro, literally completely washed out on Saturday with the
rain,
giant thunderstorms that came through. I mean, I felt sorry for some of the small vendors. They were just, their stuff was gone.
Well, dude, like, the building as you come into that parking lot, that convention center building, that remains vacant. Like, it pisses me off. I drove by it when I was there last year, and I drove in and looked in. It's empty. It's a big giant warehouse from front to back. Literally, you can move the whole entire event in that building and, basically put in porta potties because it probably doesn't have any, plumbing or whatever. Maybe it does. I don't know. But
isn't
whatever
that
be the case.
ARRL convention too? Why wouldn't they put that in there? Oh, no, it is. I think it is. So why don't they move it in there?
Because the club that has been supporting this has been doing it this way and it's that old adage of like, oh, we've done it this way, so we're not changing. I participated a little bit helping out, and I felt like there's a lot of pushback sometimes with, coming up with new or creative ideas, but that's just my own opinion, but we'll leave it at that.
I mean, it's, I want to go to like Huntsville or where's the other one? Dayton. Like, I want to see a real, like, where all the vendors are there, all the new shit's there. Like, that's what I want to see. Like, I want to go to like the big one because, like, even if you're not interested in ham radio, like, to me, that would be like, I've gone to, down at the Seaport, what do they call that down in Boston? And I went to a boat show down there, and I was like, almost ready to buy a boat just because it was so awesome. They had all the coolest shit there, right? And
I don't even have a boating license.
Yeah, but I should get a boat. But you know what I mean? Like, that's what I really want to see, because those are the ones that I think, and it's too bad we can't get something like that in this part of the country. There's a lot of people do ham radio in the Northeast, and it would be nice to have like a big, where you got all the vendors coming, the Yesus, all their new stuff, like have it be one of the big ones. Because for us, I mean, it's an airplane ride or a long ass drive to get to one of those.
Yeah.
It's not like you can do it in a weekend.
Right.
Well, but like how many of the, like, just in our YouTube community, like how many of the YouTubers come up this way? None of them have it on their radar. None of them. Any of them are like, oh, we're only going to come up here and do a POTA. And I get it. Like, in essence, like, why would you come to HamX? It's a small, like, venue, even though it's an ARL section event. It's nothing in comparison to even Huntsville, which, I mean, is two separate things. It's an actual ham fest and a separate park, where they're camping out and everything.
And I went last year. When Marlboro, I did some of the classes or the speaking.
The forums. Yep.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, I want to see it. So I did the POTA one, and I was like, shit, I could have done this. I probably could have done it better. I got more experience than this guy.
I was very disappointed with the POTA.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be like, I don't know what I was thinking, but I mean, if someone was brand new, it probably would have been like good to go to and stuff. But I don't know. I think that people around here it'd be better if you had like a place where you could buy new and used stuff, have like, just demos and, like almost like, I always think like, how come none of these places ever have like radio set up for use, like to go work DX or something? Like, I would think like a booth like that one, like,
they do.
Like where?
NEARFest doesn't, but like HamX has a get on the air station.
Where did they have it last year?
You know where it was? It was tucked in a conference room off the beaten path, so you wouldn't be able to find it unless you knew where it was.
Yeah, like why didn't they have it in that main room?
I mean,
there was what was that guy? That company there that you can rent airtime. They were there. It's like you can rent like per minute. You can go and use their radios that are all around the country. Like,
that was right next to Halbit's booth. The guy who owns all of the Flex radios does the N2. He puts up all the antenna towers. What's the big remote radio program? I can't remember the top of my head.
But that was pretty cool. Like, you could demo that and say, oh, you want to like log on to,
it's called remote ham radio.
Yeah.
Right. Go figure.
You do it anywhere. Right?
RHR. Yep.
Gentlemen, I've got to scoot. I've got to go over to another live stream. Believe it or not, I was invited. So I got to go.
All right, man.
You were Mr. Popularity today.
Yeah, I know. I haven't figured it out yet. But
listen, Mike, thanks for coming on.
Thanks,
it was great hanging out with you this weekend, and glad to finally meet you in person, and hope you come back on again soon.
Definitely.
Sounds good, Mike.
Definitely. As long as Eric lets me in.
Dude, open invitation all the time. Just hit me up on Discord anytime. I'll let you know where we're doing it. Later, buddy.
Later,
good luck.
See you, Mike.
Yeah, bye.
And then there were two.
I know. Right? This is your prophecy. All of a sudden, if I hop off now, it's just going to be you left.
It's just going to be me, and I'll be like, I don't know what I'm doing.
At the end of the show.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, Hamfest, man, it's a tough sell because I'm sure they don't want to change anything to make things newer or more inviting because that's just the way they do it.
So hear me out on this. So like ham radio is, it's a group of people, not too many people do it. And then you got like the overland guys, right? Like I think that stuff's cool, but it's not really big here. Like It's big out west in the desert and all that kind of stuff. But like I'm telling you, if you had a combination of ham radio, overland, and a big thing at a
dude. Mike's venue. An overlander. He loves overland.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, he's like the one. Like, there's not too many.
There are a couple.
Yeah, but it's not like it is out west. But wouldn't it be cool to get the vendors from ham radio and overland and like take over, the Boston side and have a huge thing?
Well, what you got to do is exactly what like the folks like Digital Rancher and HR20 and all those guys that go to More Expo. They literally go there and they've worked with the program coordinator for More Expo, which is all a big overlanding thing. And they have a little what they call the ham radio pavilion. And so like they just do ham radio specific and people come up to them. So they're starting to do more of that. Do we even know like if there's like anything like More Expo up here? Then there's got to be, I'm sure.
Well, weren't we going to go? What was that thing that we were going to go to? It was like that electronic. It was like last year we were going to rent a space, or we were asked to do a space, and then I forget what it was. It was like last year or the year before. It was out in like Western Mass. It was a big thing, and that the club was going to go, and we got like a free booth. What the heck was that? I couldn't go. I think I had baseball or something. But did you go?
Me then. No, I did. Probably wouldn't want to ring a bell.
There was something. It was like it was a big, like every year it's a big electronics kind of thing, and they asked us to come, and they gave us a table or a booth. But we had to man it 24/7 or something.
Oh yeah. You're talking about and
maybe we decided not to do it because it was like we couldn't get enough people to man the.
Yeah. Why am I thinking of it? It's the stupid fair that occurs all the time. Fair in Mass. The Big E.
The Big E, right?
Yep.
We never did that, right? Because we didn't have enough people to. They wanted us to be like man it like 24/7 for like 4 days or something. We're like, what?
And actually, from what I understand, the club that was doing it basically is backed out just because they couldn't get enough people, and ARL didn't really help continue to support it going on. So, and I'm sure it's probably super expensive to get in that event because it's like 19 buildings and 100 acres. It's crazy.
Yeah. So I think I think that's how I think if you team up with something that uses ham radio, like the overland stuff that could use ham radio, that ham radio operators might be interested in that. Like that's kind of, people building mobile shacks and that kind of stuff in the overland, the whole 9 yards. I mean, the biggest thing I got the best thing I think besides, doing the thing is I saw that guy's Jeep that I parked next to with those Molly things on the windows with the antenna on it. I'm like, dude, that's awesome. I took pictures of it. I'm like, I'm getting myself one of those.
How it starts. I was watching some YouTube videos on overlanding and stuff and looking for the Molly panels for the back of the bed of the truck, and that's exactly how it starts. You look at like small little things and you're like, oh, I got to get ball mounts for my dash for cameras, and the list goes on and on and on. So it's only a matter of time, my friend. We'll be overlanding on top of that.
Yeah, but I'm not like put it this way, for NEARFest, like if I missed NEARFest, like I wouldn't be like, oh, I missed NEARFest. Like it's like a bummer, but I like going. I think if we do it like in the fall or next spring, and we get down there in the main thing, and we get a table and the camper, and we just stay there and have people coming and all day long, all weekend long, I think it could be fun as long as we keep the live stream going. Maybe do like you said, an hour or two and take a break, and another hour or two, and just kind of get people on the air and see what it's like. And
like you could we could basically work towards like getting some of the vendors like to come do interviews and then like say, hey, we'll put somebody at your booth to man it in terms of keeping the sales going, but at the same time, you can come promote or whatever. And like, cause like I would have loved to, give Matt, I didn't think about recording Matt's, updates, but, not that he really needs a lot of the updates. He does an awesome job and we all use his antennas and, profess him often. So it's not like,
I wonder, could you do a live stream where you went, like I could be, say,
like a man on the street?
Yeah. And like I'd be on one screen, like at the table or wherever at our area. And then you go into the barn, say,
maybe
an interview.
Technical challenges, I'm sure, but yeah, we could probably figure it out.
But if that's something like that would be cool because then we could be doing it live. We could get a big, we could actually get like a screen, a computer screen or something and have the YouTube channel going like on iPads or whatever so people can see. I think it would just be kind of,
yeah.
I think it would be cool. And I think people would enjoy it. I think we'd get a crowd of people at least watching it.
It's inspired me to want to see how we can turn up the gas on the 24-hour POTA. Like I really want to aim for like the fall to do that. I know our bigger picture is to like maybe do it at Arcadia, like do an Arcadia thing separate, but I think we need to do that 24-hour POTA on the fall, like sometime in the fall and work towards like, getting that locked in and getting people to go do a camp out.
Yeah. We're going to need people to sign up for that because 24 hours is a long
time
to be activating the same park nonstop.
And I'm thinking, at the same time, if we play our cards right, we could probably get a lot of vendors to like do giveaways along that, that 24-hour period. So we'd be like, hey, we're going to be live streaming for 24 hours. Do you want to like give away some stuff of your products? And, maybe Icon will do a goodie bag. You never know. I mean, we're not a huge channel, but we could always say, hey, you're going to see us for 24 hours. We're going to get our worth.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we got to work on that. So those are some of the things. And yeah, just not enough freaking time.
I know. Maybe, I'll find out when the float fly is, and maybe I could talk to the guy and see if we could do it the week after that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Because they take over the float fly, but the next week, like I think the park it's pretty much closed.
I would assume
it's closed for the float fly, but they open it back up because people like to camp and watch the planes fly off the water and stuff. So I'm thinking maybe the week after
they extend it one more time.
Yeah, and I don't think they would let us camp there. I don't think it would be open for like all kind of campers because they're kind of winding down. But if we had the same spot, we'd be in that parking lot. We can
when's the float fly?
It's like
September.
Yeah, it's like the week after, 1 or 2 weeks after Labor Day.
Okay.
So
we definitely could do it like Labor Day, but we could probably do it like the weekend after. If they do like 2 weeks after, we could probably do the week before float fly. But we should. So here's our invite to our membership and listener base. Would you guys want to come do a weekend and be part of hanging out for a Friday, Saturday, or Saturday, Sunday, depending on what it works out. For 24 hours, we set up at Greenfield State Park. We do a live stream 24 hours.
We'll set up one station we could use your
hex beam, whatever.
Yeah, the hex beam, and one station, one tent, whatever, set up for the radio and just run it 24/7.
Yep, we would need the people. We'd have food. We could coordinate getting people there. So if you wanted to be an exclusive and drop your camper there for the weekend to hang out, we can make it a special event, sort of like how HRCC does their weekend camping. We'll do a 24-hour POTA, camping event for Live Free and Ham. So if you're interested in something like that, we'll post up on Discord. Give us a listen, give us an update. If you'd be interested, let us know, and we'll keep a tag on that, a tally on that, and we'll see. We can get this going.
Who knows? It could become a yearly event.
Oh boy, let's get it off the ground first.
24-hour POTA, Greenfield State Park, New Hampshire. We'd have to rotate parks.
Yeah, I know. It's year 5 now, and we've been doing 24-hour POTAs for 5 years straight.
For the next 50 years, we'll be going from each. We'll do a different state each year. I'll be 103. I gotta stay alive for the last POTA.
I don't know. Paul is trying to get all of his, bucket list in before that. So I don't know. It just might be you and I anyway at the 103.
Yeah. I don't know. I won't be that around that long, but that would be kind of cool, and it would support the hobby, and it would be kind of fun. And who knows? I mean, we probably have a lot of cool contacts, and word might get out that we're doing especially if we were announcing it on the radio and telling people, hey, spread the word. We're doing a 24-hour POTA park. Yeah, I think it'd be awesome. How does that work? How does it work if I'm doing let's say we had our Live Free and Ham call, and that's what we were using for our 24-hour POTA. But can you as your personal POTA stuff, can you log those as like W1SCJ?
For the contacts you make, you would put your call sign in the operator field. So when we're logging it, you would, anytime we have a new operator set in, they would just change the operator field to their call sign, and then they would get credit for all of those contacts that they made. Both but
it doesn't count as a twofer, right? Well, it doesn't count as two operators.
No, because you're operating as an activator under the club call.
Okay.
So the club call is the primary, but you get all of the contact points for the contacts made under your call.
Right.
Under W1LFH, or when we get it. Actually,
whenever we get it.
But no, we are actually. Funny story is I'm just waiting for the FCC. Apparently there's a timer, an 18-day timer that I have to sit and wait for. So we're literally 6 more days left before I finally get it. So we'll have an official announcement. Yeah.
Why what is wrong?
I don't know. It's the FCC. In essence, because I think, and so here's the catch. If you go look up on QRZ, if you look at W1LFH, you'll see that my name and Live Free and Ham is under that, but it shows as terminated, and it shows as terminated back in October. So I technically still own the call, but it's terminated. I have to let the paperwork go through, and they have to wait it's an 18-day period, a window. So like if anybody else decides to come back to claim the call again or whatever, like instead of them looking at it and going, oh, hey, the person who's requesting it is also the person who owns the call, I should just give it to them. And, so I have to wait the 18 days. So that's what we're waiting for.
All right.
Yeah,
but we'll get it though, right?
Yeah. No, dude, we own it. So it's like until they realize they, made their errors.
Yeah.
So,
all right. Well, that'll be cool.
Yeah. So I guess outside of this, I mean, for Hamfest, NEARFest is a good, overall, fest to get together and meet people that we haven't seen in a while. I wish it would, improve and grow like we've talked about a little bit, but it's New England. We're stubborn. we don't do anything fast.
Well, it's kind of like our club too. We have to, there's things that we could like. I really want to buy a trailer for the club and build a portable station. At least use it for field day, and then maybe use it for the POTA activation or whatever, the support your parks, or when the club goes out and does the POTA thing. I mean, and it would be fun to build it. And the guys that don't know, like I don't know how to build a shack from a mobile, but there's guys in our club that do, and it would just be fun to build it and have your input, and then just have a club trailer. Crap, you could bring it to NEARFest.
Totally.
So
yeah, that is on my bucket list to make sure we get done for 2025, or at least get to that part rolling forward. We've got some other stuff we're working on, but I would love to see that happen for sure. It would be fun. But yeah, I mean, and in terms of Hamfest, because we don't want to get our hands involved there, but Live Free and Ham, I think we're going to have to move forward on some of the stuff we talked about, just getting actual site there and making more of ourselves present. And, getting more involved in the general public down at the ground level. So I think we'll probably try to see if we can target that for the fall.
Said, I'm done coaching after this year. So baseball will just be going to my kids' games, and it won't. And even if I had to miss a game to do, it wouldn't be a big deal.
Okay.
He plays so much baseball. It's like if we were going to do
one game.
Yeah. I mean, if we were going to do, NEARFest from whatever Friday when it opens till Saturday when it ends, I could be there.
Yep.
And I think it would be a good, but we'd have to prepare, and we'd have to figure out make sure everything worked right, and have a schedule. This is what we're planning on doing. I mean, obviously things will change, but
we're gonna have to do a bunch of giveaways too. We just can't sit there and not give anything out.
Yeah. Hey, and here's a hammy. Oh, here's a sticker pad.
It's funny story.
I'll go away. I'll start going away and buying crap at NEARFest. Today we're giving away a lead weight. We don't know if it works, but
here's a first gen iPad.
Yeah,
it's a relic. Funny story with the little pigs. I left one on Reliance's booth out in the open, like by the rest of his antennas. And I can't tell you how many people picked it up and looked at it, kind of puzzled, and then put it back down. I'm like, dude, flip the damn thing over and read the bottom. That's all you have to do. But we'll have to spread more of that love a little bit. I know Paul did a couple of handouts. I did a few here and there scattered about. So hopefully people will catch on and go visit the website and want to be like, hey, this is a cool idea. We'll see.
I think it would take on a lot better if it was trackable.
Yeah, but that's going to get expensive, but yeah.
No, I know, but how like the geocachers do it, like with their little things. I mean, I think people would be more.
How far will a hammy go?
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. All right, well, let's put a bow on this one because I'm sure you're pretty much all spent from the weekend and dreading getting into Mondays, but we definitely thank Mike for hopping on. He had to jump off because apparently he's on Jason's channel talking about Overland, and so obviously once this airs, well, actually either way you'll have to go back to the replay and check him out on that, but he's being a man of the town and hanging out with a couple of different YouTubers, so good for him. And, Paul, who is not here present with us, he's currently packing. I just saw a quick post from Mike on Discord giving them the parks and stuff like that they'll be activating. So if you're a Patreon member, you might get lucky. This might be your future intel. He'll be activating Monday when he's in New York with Mike. So if you want to score a couple of contacts with him and Mike, they'll be over at Park US 5253. That's Pittstown State Forest. So they're going to be activating together. Plenty of trees, so Paul can throw up his Reliance antenna, and Mike can maybe activate his 56-to-1 Reliance antenna there, and they can hold hands and skip off into the distance, singing Reliance as their favorite song. So either way, we'll definitely keep an eye out for them to hopefully make contacts and get them in the log there for me. And he'll if you want to track Paul, he's on APRS. I was going to look up real quick if APRS.fi and see what his call number is. N1OG star. Let's see what he is. He is running, what number are you, Paul? Looks like a -9. If you do N1OG star, you could probably find him a couple different ones, but it looks like he's on 14652 N1OG-9. So if you want to follow him along, we'll be doing a little bit of that on our own website and in Discord. So looking forward to his travels.
How far would the radio pick him up for?
Well, it depends on whether there's a digipeater around in the area that can hear him.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. I mean, I'm sure he'll have no problem going through like most of Massachusetts and, in and through the main corridors. But once he starts getting up to Vermont, it's going to be tough to pick up. I know I was hard to pick up in those areas when I was up in, kind of Troy in that area.
Yeah.
But, we'll see. Either way, we're looking forward to seeing his progress. You can always check him out on his channel because, again, this is his month. He's away skydiving, getting his Class A license. So we're looking forward to getting some updates from him on that. And so pay attention to his channel, pay attention to Live Free and Ham for all of those great things. And so to wrap things up, again, thanks, Mike, for hanging out with us tonight on such short notice there. And as always, thanks again for joining Live Free and Ham. We truly appreciate hanging out with all you guys, and for all the folks that we saw at NEARFest and who recognized us. We say thank you and appreciate everybody who's part of our community. We can't thank you guys enough. And so you can always head over to our Discord server if you want to connect with us, join in the conversation. This show will be posted soon. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel to make sure you catch up on all of the excellent content over there. And as always, you can leave us a comment using our SMS link. Those are located in our show notes as well as our email address. Or if you prefer, you can leave us a quick voicemail at 978-233-1142. And like we always say, if you want to help support the show, you can always buy us a beer link. And we thank Shannon and the Hillbilly Ham Radio Club for throwing us a few buy us a beers from the live stream. Those are much appreciated. Thanks again for those. But you can always join our Patreon, and our Patreon members get a boatload of stuff, including access to all of our uncut shows, including this one, and many other links to all of our merch and other cool meetups that are coming up soon. So outside of that, you can always head over to livefreeandham.com to learn about our show, check out our swag, and find out all of everything you want to learn about Live Free and Ham. And with that, thanks again for listening. And from all of us at Live Free and Ham, 7-3.